merciful, faithful. You promised us to be with merciful. The people cry out to you, my Lord. Don't let us die in this wilderness. If there is something you trust me,
ẹ káalẹ́ níbi gbogbo tí ẹ ti ń gbọ́ wa.
it's your sweet love and your faithfulness.
Merciful, faithful.
I'll be on the expressing.
Merciful, faithful.
ẹ káàbọ̀ sí rédíò àbí chánẹ́ẹ̀lì Fáàtì Òkodoro, bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ní rédíò Fáàtì Òkodoro ẹ̀ka ìjálẹ̀.
But with the fire and cloud you guide, now we react to a place of rest.
Ògo ni fọ́lọ́run lókè ọ̀run àti ní ayé àlàáfíà.
All the praises to you, my Lord, my Jehovah, you are still the best.
Me no go drown, me no go drown. Me I go live and watch a great mercy.
I no go die.
I no go die.
Kò sí orúkọ kan tí a fi fúnni lábẹ́ ọ̀run tí a lè fi gbà nílà lẹ́yìn orúkọ Jésù.
Die. Hear my cry.
Oh, merciful.
Èmi ló ń ṣe láì tí ì ní Jésù. Èmi ló ń ṣe nínú ìjọ láì mẹ́ni tí Jésù Olúwa jẹ́. Lálẹ́ yìí máa bọ̀ lọ́dọ̀ Jésù.
Faithful.
Oh, Lord, now I behold the great blessing.
Merciful, faithful.
You promised us to be with me.
Merciful,
The people cry.
Bí a ti ń wọnú ètò lọ lálẹ́ yìí, mo kí yín káàbọ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí lórúkọ Bàbá, Ọmọ àti Ẹ̀mí Mímọ́. Mo wá ń gbà ládùúrà pé lẹ́yìn ètò yìí a ó di alábùkún fún. Ògo yóò jẹ́ tọlọ́run, ìtìjú yóò jẹ́ ti Sátánì, ìbùkún yóò jẹ́ tàwa ọmọ Ọlọ́run. Ẹ má jẹ́ ká gbàgbé wípé ètò yìí a ò gbé kalẹ̀, a ò là á kalẹ̀ nítorí àtakò, nítorí gbọ́nmi sí omi òtó, nítorí kí wàhálà lè ṣẹlẹ̀. À ń ṣètò yìí kí àwọn èèyàn lè mọ òdodo nípa Ọlọ́run, nípa Jésù Kristi, nípa Bíbélì, nípa ohun tí ìgbàgbọ́ jẹ́. Ìtí a fi ń ṣètò yìí nìyẹn. Alẹ́ yìí kìí ṣe alẹ́ ètò wa, ṣùgbọ́n gẹ́gẹ́ bí a ti pe arákùnrin yẹn níjà lánàá tí wọ́n sì láwọn ò wá, à ń retí wọn lálẹ́ yìí. Mo sì gbàgbọ́ pé wọ́n ó wá láti wá sọ fún wa ìdí tí wọ́n fi jẹ́ Mùsùlùmí, ìdí tí wọ́n fi jẹ́ Mùsùlùmí tí wọn ò fi jẹ́ Kìrìsìtẹ́nì. Ok, ìtẹ́mi fẹ́ tá a ti ṣe yẹn lánàá, ìdí tí mo ṣe gbúdọ̀ jẹ́ Mùsùlùmí náà bá wa sọ lánàá. Lálẹ́ ìyàwó wa sọ ìdí tí wọ́n ṣe gbúdọ̀ fi Ìsìláàmù sílẹ̀. Níta fẹ́ jọ sọ lálẹ́ yìí ni inú mi á sì dùn kí wọ́n tètè darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. Mo kí àwọn tó ti wà lórí ètò. Ògúnrìndé Abíọ́dún, you are welcome. Ẹ káalẹ́. Blessing Olúwapẹ̀lúmi, ẹ káalẹ́. Ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò Fáàtì Òkodoro. Àwọn èèyàn tó wà lórí TikTok, mo lérò pé ẹ̀ ń gbádùn wa. Mo gbà ládùúrà pé ètò yìí yóò jẹ́ ìbùkún fún wa. Mo sì mọ̀ pé wọn ò ní blọ́ọ̀kì wa lálẹ́ yìí nígbà tá a bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní tú pẹrẹpẹrẹ ọ̀rọ̀ sílẹ̀. Mo gbà Ọlọ́run gbọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Torí tá a bá ti blọ́ọ̀kì wa, fídíò yẹn ò ní ṣe é share, kò ní ṣe é download. Ẹ bá wa láìkì àwọn tó wà lórí TikTok, ẹ bá wa láìkì ẹ bá wa pín fọ́nrán yẹn pẹ̀lú àwọn èèyàn, ẹ bá wa comment. Ẹ káalẹ́ Reverend William.
Ẹ káalẹ́ sà.
Ẹ kú ọjọ́ mẹ́ta.
Jọ́pẹ́ pẹ̀lú o.
Káàbọ̀ sórí ètò. Kí àwọn ará ilé.
Adúpẹ́. Mo kí wa ní kíkí àlàáfíà. Mo kí wa kálẹ̀ o. Gbẹ̀yìn olùgbọ́ wa lórúkọ Jésù. Ẹni gbọ́ wa lásán o. Lórúkọ Jésù, Olúwa yóò tẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ sójú ọ̀nà wa o. Gbogbo bíkíbi tẹ́ ẹ ti ń rówó ra dátà, tẹ́ ẹ fi ń wò wá. Lórúkọ Jésù kò ní tẹ́ńbẹ̀ o. Orí ọ̀fẹ́ tẹ́ fi mọ́ ẹni tí Jésù jẹ́. Ọ̀rọ̀ yóò dára fún gbogbo wa. Ètò talẹ́ yìí yóò gba ọ̀kàlà. Lórúkọ Jésù Kristi Olúwa wa.
Ògo ni fọ́lọ́run lókè ọ̀run àti ní ayé àlàáfíà. Ìgbàlà ọkàn wa jẹ́ dandan. Mímọ̀ Jésù ó ṣe pàtàkì. Kò sí àwáwí bí ẹnikẹ́ni ń lè ní láti lóun ò ní mọ ẹni tí Jésù Olúwa jẹ́, láti mọ ẹni tí òun láti lóun ò mọ irúfẹ́ ẹni tí Jésù jẹ́. Lálẹ́ yìí, nígbà tí a ń retí arákùnrin Sanni láti wá sọ fún wa, wọ́n fẹ́ gbọ́ lọ́dọ̀ wa ìdí tí a fi kọ̀ láti jẹ́ Mùsùlùmí. Èmi á sì fún wọn láwọn ìdí. Ṣé ẹ mọ̀ páwa bí wọ́n lánàá pé kó fún wa ní ìdí tí mi ṣe gbúdọ̀ jẹ́ Kristẹni. Wọ́n kàn ń yí rà á lójú kan náà ni. Wọ́n kàn ń rà á mú lójú kan. Trinity, ọ̀rọ̀ Trinity náà ni. Trinity náà ni kókó tí wọ́n tẹnu mọ́. Mímọ̀ Jésù, gbígba Jésù Olúwa àti olùgbàlà wa, jíjẹ́wọ́ Jésù ní Olúwa àti olùgbàlà, mímọ̀ ẹni tí Jésù jẹ́. Àwa ń retí kí wọ́n fún wa láwọn ìdí tí a ṣe gbúdọ̀ tẹ̀lé Jésù tá a kà nínú Bíbélì. Ṣùgbọ́n tó bí a ti pọ̀ wọ́n fún pọ̀ tó tá a béèrè lọ́wọ́ wọn pé kí ni àwọn ìdí tí wọ́n gbé, wọn ò rí ìdí kankan sọ. Mo rí kọ́mẹ̀ntì kan lánàá tán ní àwọn pọ́ìntì wọn ká máa mú wọn lẹ́yọ kọ̀ọ̀kan. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pọ́ìntì wọn dá lórí, wọ́n ń sọ nípa Jésù, the divinity of Jesus Christ and the doctrine of Trinity. That is the major point tí wọ́n raise lánàá, the divinity of Jesus Christ, and I gave him verses of the scripture where Jesus is called God, where Jesus attributed divinity to himself. He looked away and said he's not interested in reading those verses. But eventually, at the end of the program, he went to Galatians, the book of Paul, Brother Paul, the same Paul they attacked severely. He was using Brother Paul to defend his own claims. I'm surprised. I gave you verses of the Bible explaining to you why Jesus is God. I gave you tons of verses explaining. You even went to John 17, verse 3. John 17 is not a place to go to for Muslims if you want to attack the Bible, if you want to attack the Christian faith. Jòhánù orí kẹtàdínlógún kì í ṣe ibi tí a lè sáré sá lọ fún Mùsùlùmí láti ṣe àtakò Bíbélì àbí ṣe àtakò jíjẹ́ Kristẹni. Rárá, torí Jòhánù orí kẹtàdínlógún ẹsẹ̀ kẹta ibẹ̀ kọ́ ló ti bẹ̀rẹ̀, ẹsẹ̀ kínní ló ti bẹ̀rẹ̀. Ta lẹni náà nínú àwọn wòlíì tí ó sọ pé ògo tí mo ti ní pẹ̀lú rẹ bàbá, fi ògo fún ọmọ rẹ kí ọmọ náà lè fògo fún ọ. Ẹ̀dá ènìyàn wo ni ó sọ pé ògo kan wà tó ń ti ní pẹ̀lú Ọlọ́run kí ayé tó bẹ̀rẹ̀? Mi rò pé mo rí ẹ̀dá alààyè ọ̀hún. Revelation 1:17-18, Jésù ní èmi lẹni ìṣáájú, èmi lẹni ìkẹyìn. Ẹ̀dá alààyè wo ni ó sọ gbangba fáwọn èèyàn pé òun lẹni ìṣáájú, òun lẹni ìkẹyìn? Kò sí. So àwọn ìdí nìyí tá a fi mọ̀ pé Jésù jẹ́ Ọlọ́run. Ìgbàgbọ́ wa dá lórí ikú àti àjíǹde lórí àgbélébùú. Èmi retí kí wọ́n fún wa láwọn ìdí tí a ṣe gbúdọ̀ tẹ̀lé, tá a ṣe gbúdọ̀ kọ Jésù sílẹ̀, tá a ṣe gbúdọ̀ lọ darapọ̀ mọ́ Jésù tàbí sábẹ́ igi ọ̀dán, ibi abẹ́ igi dàbí date palm, ìmọ̀ Yorùbá tá a pè date palm, ṣé dàbínù ni àbí kí la pè, igi ọ̀pẹ. Jésù tí ó sọ̀rọ̀ lópòǹlò, Jésù tí a ò pa, tí ò jíǹde. Mi mọ̀ bí a ti ṣe fẹ́ gbà á lè gbọ́. Wọ́n sì béèrè lọ́wọ́ arákùnrin yẹn pé ọdún wo, ìwé wo ló ti ka gbogbo nǹkan tó mọ̀ nípa Jésù nínú Kùránì ni? Ọdún wo ni wọ́n Kùránì dé ní 600 years after Jesus Christ? Nígbà tí wọ́n ń fẹnu àtẹ́ lu àwọn ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n, àwọn ọmọlẹ́yìn Jésù, àwọn church fathers tí wọ́n ṣe àgbékalẹ̀ ìmọ̀ Ọlọ́run, báwo lọ́lọ́run ṣe rí, kí làlàyé tá a lè sọ nípa Ọlọ́run láti ìgbà tán ka Bíbélì Genesis dé Ìfihàn. Ó ní ó ti pẹ́ jù, bíi pé lọ́jọ́ tó dé náà ló mọ ohun tí gbogbo ohun tọ́lọ́run jẹ́. A ò lè mọ Ọlọ́run tán, ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n ń ṣàlàyé fún wa òye bí òye Ọlọ́run ti fi ara rẹ̀ fún wa, mẹ́ta lọ́kan ni. In tó pera rẹ̀ ní òun ló sì ṣàlàyé ohun tọ́lọ́run jẹ́ jùlọ, torí pé Ọlọ́run jẹ́ ẹ̀dá kan tí ó kọjá òye ènìyàn. Ìgbékalẹ̀ rẹ̀ kò sí àfijọ́ rẹ̀ kò sí àfijọ́ Ọlọ́run. So tẹ́ bá lọ́lọ́run mẹ́ta nínú ẹyọ kan ni, òun ní nǹkan kan tó yàtọ̀ sí gbogbo nǹkan láyé. So ibi tá à ń lọ kọ́ nìyẹn. Lálẹ́ yìí à ń retí arákùnrin yìí, inú mi á sì dùn tí wọn ò bá disappoint mi lálẹ́ yìí, torí mo ti send message wọn látọ̀sán. Àwọn náà ló jẹ́ ká wá lálẹ́ yìí. Tábà wá rí wọn tó, a ó ṣoore ọ̀fẹ́, a ó sì máa lọ. Ẹ má jẹ́ ká gbàgbé àwọn information yìí. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí a ti sọ fún àwọn ènìyàn pé a máa jáde lóṣù mẹ́ta láti wàásù Jésù láwọn àdúgbò kọ̀ọ̀kan nítorí ìbò àti nǹkan tó ń lọ lọ́wọ́ ní Nàìjíríà. ká má bà kó má dàbí kó má jẹ́ àsìkò ìbò kó má di ìfàǹfà bí ó tó máa dípò àwọn ó máa fa lọ́bọ̀lọ́bọ̀ àbáwọn àwọn olóṣèlú á lo àǹfààní yẹn láti fi dá họ́wùhọ́wù sílẹ̀. A ò ní ṣe ètò yìí lásìkò yìí bóyá yóò tó April tí Ọlọ́run bá jẹ́ kí gbogbo ẹ̀ lọ nírọ̀wọ́rọsẹ̀ kó má sí ìtàjẹ̀ sílẹ̀ kó má sí ìfàǹfà èyí tí ó ń bí àwọn ènìyàn nínú kọ́lọ́run bá wa yanjú ẹ̀. Èyí tó bá sì tán bá ti declare gẹ́gẹ́ bí president òun náà ni a ò ní choice òun náà ni a fọwọ́ sí gẹ́gẹ́ bí adarí orílẹ̀-èdè náà. Yeah. So lẹ́yìn ètò ìbò yìí bí alẹ́ April a ó jáde ká má gbàgbé December lágbára Ọlọ́run. Òjò fẹ́ rọ̀ ní ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn reverend lọ́dà pé òun ló ń fẹ́ atẹ́gùn mo ti mú tu microphone yín bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ló ń fẹ́ atẹ́gùn lọ́dọ̀ tiwa náà ń bì. Yeah. Ẹ jẹ́ ká information àkọ́kọ́ ni information kejì StreamYard wa yìí ó ti expire so ó ṣeé ṣe wọ́n máa limit wa a lè má lè gbé àwọn èèyàn wọlé tó ju bí a ṣe ń gbé wọn wọlé yẹn lọ torí tí owó rẹ̀ tó arákùnrin yẹn ti dé the Muslim brother is around so let me take him in. Bra Muritala Sonny, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Good evening, all.
You can say hi to the audience.
Good evening, all. And I appreciate you for having me on. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Should we go straight to our program? Shall we? I'm asking, should I continue with my point because we don't have much time to waste?
Yes, you can continue.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Last night I challenged you that will you be able to I begin to tell you can mute your microphone because of the background noise. So I'm in this program. I'm here to tell you reasons why I chose not to become a Muslim, and I will not waste time. I will go straight to the point, and I will be glad if you can respond to some of these points, or if not all. Two major reasons. Sorry, and because of the cough and catarrh. I'm sorry. Two major reasons is being highlighted here, and these two reasons. Sorry, there are two reasons why I am not a Muslim, and these two reasons has undertone under subsections, some points underneath them. Number one, the reason why I'm not a Muslim is because Muhammad is not a prophet of God. Muhammad that described Islam for us, Muhammad that gave us Islam, Muhammad that came with Islam, Muhammad that explained Islam, because before Muhammad in the 7th century, there is nothing like Islam. The word Islam is not heard anywhere. So Muhammad that came with the propagation of Islam, rain is falling here. You can be hearing the background noise. Muhammad that came 600 years, in the 7th century, 600 years after Jesus Christ, was not a Muslim. That is number one reason, number one major reason. Number two reason is Islam is a contradiction and a 7th century scam. That is the two reasons why I am not a Muslim. That's under that number one. I have some reasons why I say Muhammad is not a prophet of God. One, Muhammad's first revelation, first encounter, so distant, so is at variance at how God revealed himself to other prophets. I'll be asking my brother, how did Muhammad got his revelation? He was pressed. He was foaming in the mouth. He was sweating like camel. He was snoring. He was doing, he was visibly shaking. He said he feel like every load is on him. He was shaking. He was rolling on the floor. These are the description of Muhammad's revelation, how he got his revelation. And he was pressed. He was asked, read. He was saying, what shall I read? What have you given me to read? And he couldn't read up till the many years of his life. Muslim believe Muhammad cannot read. He was an illiterate prophet. That is number one reason. Number two, Muhammad led a terrible lifestyle. He led a terrible lifestyle that cannot be emulated. He was a sinner, Surah 48, ayah 2. He married the divorced wife of his adopted son, which is not a good character to be emulated today. He allowed muta marriage, temporary marriage between the soldiers and the slave girls, the wife of another person, Surah 4, ayah 24, and some hadith references. Muhammad broke the law of Moses. Jesus said he had come to affirm the law, to fulfill the law, to establish the law. But Muhammad, he broke the law of Moses. We are expecting him to continue in the law of Moses. We are expecting him to continue in the law Moses the Lord gave to Moses. But eventually, Muhammad broke these laws. What are those laws? He coveted the wife of his adopted sons. Whereas the Bible says you should not covet. Because according to your tafsir, Muhammad went to the house and he said the wind blew and the curtain lifted. He said, "Oh, my heart is lifted." His heart was lifted against the wife of another person. That is covetousness. He was a wife beater. Muhammad was a wife beater. He beat Aisha. He struck her in her chest, and Aisha said it caused her a pain. Muhammad slept with slave girl on the matrimonial bed of his wives. These are not examples that can be copied, that can be emulated in this 21st century, even not at all in any time of the year, of the ages. Muhammad married, he broke his own law. He said we should marry 4. He married 9. Some people said 13. Some people even said 28. And some concubines, some slave girls. This is not a good example for us. Muhammad himself molested a minor, Aisha, at the age of 9. Muhammad lied about the Quran. He said the Quran is a direct speech of Allah, is the word of Allah. Yet we find in the Quran deeds of Muhammad, actions of Muhammad, and we found in the Quran things that has been revealed, things that have been said about in the previous books. He told us the books of Allah, they cannot be changed, and the books of Allah like Injil, Torah, Zabur, and some other books like Suhuf of Ibrahim, where are they today? We cannot find them. In fact, Muhammad had 2 books in his hands. He said they are books containing the names of those that will get to paradise. And in another book, the book that contain those that will get to hellfire. I'm challenging my brother to show me that books today. That book, 2 books Muhammad was holding in his hand, where he was claiming to have the name of those that will enter heaven and those that will enter hellfire. Where is that? Where are those books? He held it literally in his hands. These are lies. They said Islam is peace. Yet, Islam said you should not become friends with Christians. He said, wherever you find them, Surah 9:29, fight those who do not believe in Allah and the last day. Among the people of the books, is this peace or violence? How did Islam spread? This is another thing. So let me leave at that. Secondly, the second point I raise is Islam is a contradiction in itself and is a 7th century scam. Is Islam peace or violence? Today, when you leave Islam, your judgment is to be beheaded, to be killed, or to be stoned. They said there is no atonement in Islam. Yet, Christians and Jews will replace Muslim there will be a replacement for Muslim in hellfire. There will be the atonement there will be a replacement, what do you call it? What do you pay? Ransom. There will be the ransom for Muslim. So they will replace them in hellfire. Allah himself answered the sacrifice of Cain, of Abel, with fire according to Quran. And we were told that Quran is one, is not having foreign words, is a pure Arabic tongue. Yet we have foreign words in the Quran. We have 37 Arabic Qurans today. And so many other things like that. Let me stop at that because of I wouldn't spend forever. Thank you. God bless you. The floor is yours. Go ahead, Bra Muritala. Welcome, TMD.
Okay.
You can speak louder so I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Hello, we can hear you. You can go ahead.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Am I audible? Can you hear me all?
Your voice is slow, but you can go ahead. We will manage that. If you cannot be higher than that. Go ahead. Go ahead. We are waiting for you, dear brother. Brother is Brad Muritala Sonny. Are you there? I can't hear him. He has muted himself. Maybe I wouldn't know. TMD, you are welcome. Ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò. Bra Sonny, when you are available, please take the microphone and speak to the audience. We are eagerly waiting for you. We cannot be silent on here. We want you to speak on the issue raised so you can defend them. These are some of the reasons why I am not a Muslim, and I believe other people, other Christians have their reasons why they are not Muslim. Is gone. TMD, you are welcome. Ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò. Ẹ lè kí àwọn ará ilé àfẹ́ gbóhùn yín. Ṣáwọn èèyàn ń gbóhùn mi báyìí? Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà ní comment section bá mi. Yeah.
À ń gbọ́ yín.
Sàrákùnrin yẹn ti lọ. So Reverend àmọ́ kí ló dé tẹ́ ẹ̀ lè jẹ́ Mùsùlùmí bí akọ́kọ́ tó dé bí ẹ̀yin náà ní àwọn reason tí ẹ̀ fi lè jẹ́ Mùsùlùmí nígbà tí à ń retí arákùnrin yẹn tí wọ́n kọ̀ wá dáhùn. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Ẹ ṣeun, ẹ kú iṣẹ́. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìbéèrè tí ẹ béèrè lọ́wọ́ mi. Ìbéèrè yìí
ó fẹ́ kí let's listen to him. Ẹ jẹ́ ká fún wọn láàyè. Brad Brad Muritala Sonny, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Okay, go ahead. Make your respond to the point raised.
Yeah, we can hear you clearly and loud.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. So let me just go straight to the points. As we agreed yesterday, we discussed on why Christianity, why you shouldn't follow the perspective of Christians in worshiping as a Christian yesterday, and I gave 5 reasons. So during that discussion, we agreed that we're going to discuss today why you should be a Muslim. So now to make the point, to start, I would like to make a basic point before I go ahead with my rest presentation of why you should be a Muslim. The very, very fact that everyone should accept Islam is because it is not possible for anyone to produce an intellectual justification for not being a Muslim. And to limit it within this discussion, it is impossible for anyone that is present in this stream to present an intellectual justifiable reason why he should not be a Muslim. So the very impossibility of this fact proves that everyone should be a Muslim. That's just the background I would like to give. So let me move ahead. In the 7th century Arabia, a remarkable event took place in Arabia. A man ascended upon the Mount Safa. He calls to the tribe of Quraysh. Then he said to them, if I were to inform you that there's an army by the valley which intends to attack you, would you believe me? And the people replied that we are listening to him that yes, we have never known you to tell a lie. Then he said unto them, I am a messenger of God sent to you. And many of them disbelieved. This man is none other than the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the last and the final messenger of God that have been sent to the generality of mankind. So now this claim has been made in the 7th century Arabia. Now we have to examine this claim to see what are the viable reasons behind this claim. I will just give, for sake of this discussion, I'll just give 3 viable reasons in verifying this claim. Number 1, it could be that this claim was a lie. It could also be that the person giving this claim was deluded. And it could also mean that the person giving this claim was actually telling the truth. What I'm going to do now, we are going to approach each of the options to see which is the best explanation to the claim made. The first claim, that he was telling a lie. This was a man that had been known by his people for 40 years. And according to their own admission themselves, they said they have never known him to tell a lie. In fact, he was named Al-Amin, the trustworthy, due to what? His truthfulness. So now, for him to abandon his legacy of 40 years to tell a lie is highly, is less probable. It's highly unimaginable. Now, anyone telling a lie does it for a motive, either for glory, for money, or for some personal benefit. So whoever tells a lie normally does it for a motive. Now let's see the profile of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Is there any special motive for his claim of prophethood? In Sahih Muslim Hadith number 3507, it tells the story of when Umar, a companion of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Umar ibn Khattab, radiallahu anhu, he entered into the room of the noble Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he started to cry. Why was he crying? When he saw how empty the Prophet was, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked him, why are you crying, O Umar? And he said, look at the stretch by your side that have been left by the mat in which you sleep. And look at, there are less properties in your room. He compared him to the kings of other peninsula at that time, that how they are in luxury. And the Prophet replied that it's not enough for us, that for us is the hereafter, and for them is this world. So we see that the Prophet, he was living a very, very simple life, that we can even see the stretch of the mat on his side. Then aside that, to also support the point, when the Meccans were not pleased with how the idolater of Meccas, when they were not pleased with how he was preaching against their idols, they were not pleased with his message. They invited him. They offered him leadership, that he should drop this message. They're going to make him their leader. They offered him wealth, and they offered him the most beautiful of their women. But the Prophet, he denies, he rejected this offer, and he continued with his message. So if he was telling a lie, this was a good opportunity for him to have personal benefit, but he denied it and maintained a low-key life without any property in his room, according to his companions' testimony about him. Another point of portrayed is in Surah 1779. The Prophet Muhammad was ordered to perform the night prayers. That is, during the night, it's to us Muslims, the rest of the Muslims, it is a voluntary prayer. But why to the Prophet himself, it is compulsory upon him to perform the night prayer. So if you are someone trying to bring something, if you don't make it compulsory upon only himself to wake up at night to pray. And in the narration, it has stated that what he used to pray until his legs got swollen. So by looking at the reality before us, we see that this is not the profile of someone that is telling a lie. And we also see in Sahih Bukhari, volume 4, number 654, he said specifically, do not exaggerate in praising me like the Christians exaggerate in praising the Son of Mary. I am only a slave of Allah, so call me a slave of Allah. We see that the Prophet maintained a very low-key profile, not a profile of someone who wants to be who wants to tell a lie, who wants to praise him. How the Christians have overpraised Jesus, on whom peace. He also said the Muslims used to stand up to him as a form of respect to greet him. He stopped that. Now, looking at all this, it is less probable for me to say that he was telling a lie. What is the next other possible interpretation to his claim? Was he deluded? His profile again doesn't fit this criteria. There was a particular occurrence that happened, as recorded in Sahih Bukhari, volume 2, hadith number 153, when one of his sons died. After the death of his son, people were saying that there was a solar eclipse of the sun. Then people began to say that this eclipse had happened because of the death of the son of the Prophet Ibrahim, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If he was deluded, this was an opportunity to take advantage of the situation, because people are even already saying it. But what did he do? He stopped them from saying that the life and death of someone doesn't happen to cause the eclipse. Whenever you see the eclipse, you pray to God. It has something to do with the death of his son. He stopped people from giving that testimony. So again, if you look at this quality from him, someone that was deluded will have used that opportunity to take advantage of the situation. Now, if you look at the message of the Quran that was brought by the Prophet ﷺ, the message of the Quran doesn't fit the profile of someone who was deluded. Why? Because the Quran it challenges our intuition. It makes us to reason by asking profound questions. And I'll give you an example of Quran 52, verse 35, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was asking, and were they created by nothing, or were they themselves the creator? This is a profound verse in understanding reality, in understanding that what we have a creator. Were they created from nothing? Why? Because nothing is something that doesn't exist, and whatever does not exist lacks the capability to create. So the verse is challenging your intuition. Were you created from nothing, or were you yourself the creator? If you know you cannot be created from nothing because nothing does not exist, then were you the creator? Then if you are your creator, for you to be able to create yourself, you have to first exist before you can create yourself. So the logical impossibility of these two questions points your intuition towards submitting yourself to the creator. This is a profound way of dealing with even the atheists that doesn't believe in God. So such a kind of intuitive, intriguing question cannot come from the mind of someone that is deluded. The revelation that he brought doesn't show that what this is the profile of someone that is deluded. Then also in Quran 24 verse 40, it contains some certain information that it was impossible for the Prophet ﷺ to know at the 7th century Arabia. For example, in Quran 24 verse 40, I've started earlier, it talked about the waves in the oceans, waves above the order. It speaks about the darkness in the depth of the oceans. So now, this information, due to modern research on oceanography, we're able to understand and that the oceans have waves toppled over one another, and these waves are not visible to the physical eye. You have to have sophisticated equipment for you to be able to reach this conclusion. So now, the Prophet ﷺ is giving this information at the back at the 7th century Arabia, when he had no access to these technical facilities. In Surah 4, verse 56, he talks about the sensing feature of the skin. And we now know today from research that the skin contains pain receptor that is responsible for us to feel pain. So the Quran speaks about information of the natural world that we only come to know due to technological advancement. So this profile of someone giving this message can't be someone that is deluded. Now, the professor also make some specific prophecy. He talks about the time sign of the end hour. He said, "You will see barefoot, unclothed Bedouin Arabs competing in the building of tall buildings." He never even referred to the Arabs that are in the city. He refers to the Bedouin Arab. These are barefoot, unclothed people that were known to be in that they will compete in building.
We can't hear you. Can you hear him? Mr. Sonny, we cannot hear you, please. We cannot hear you. Yeah, he's gone. Maybe it's network. Ẹ̀yin ará ilé, ẹ má jẹ́ kó yà yín lẹ́nu. The program tonight is why I am not a Muslim. The program is not about telling me stories of Muhammad. I'm waiting eagerly for you to come and defend all the reason why I raise against your prophet, I raise against Islam. Yesterday, you had the opportunity to tell me reason why I should not become a Christian. You should have told me all this yesterday. Tonight, I'm waiting for you eagerly to come and explain the reason I raised. When you are up, I'll be glad you come back and tell me reasons I raised are not okay. They are lies. They are lie prepared against Muhammad. Àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tí mo sọ lálẹ́ yìí à ń retí arákùnrin yìí láti wá ṣàlàyé fún wa wípé àwọn tá a sọ yìí kò túnrun kankan lára Muhammad. Inú ìdí tẹ́mi ò fi ní jẹ́ mùsùlùmí mo ti sọ fún ẹ. I am waiting for you to come and respond to all these points. This is the reason why we are here. Ṣé lóòótọ́ ni a tẹ́ Muhammad lọ́rùn? A fún a tẹ́ ẹ́? Ṣé lódodo ni iṣẹ́ ìránṣẹ́ tó gbà ó yàtọ̀ sí àwọn wòlíì tó kù? Ṣé lódodo ni pé ó ṣe àfààyè sílẹ̀ fún ìgbéyàwó gbèǹdéke lòdì sí àwọn wòlíì tó kù? Ṣé lódodo ni pé ó na Aisha? Ṣé lódodo ni pé ó fẹ́ ju ìyàwó mẹ́rin lọ? Àwọn ìdáhùn yìí lèmi ń retí. Àwọn ìdí tẹ́lẹ̀ fi jẹ́ mùsùlùmí nìyẹn. Tí ẹ bá wá padà dé, inú mi á dùn láti jẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ dá wa lò. Reverend William, ẹ tẹ̀síwájú láìpẹ́ ẹ raise àwọn pọ́ìntì kan lẹ́ẹ̀kan. Reverend William. Arákùnrin tí ẹ ń bí iṣẹ́ wa ń bẹ̀. Mo lérò pé àwọn èèyàn tó wà nínú. Ok, a ti ń pè yín látẹ̀kùn.
Ẹ má bínú, mo busy pẹ̀lú àwọn kan ni.
Ok.
Bọ̀ mo ń fọkàn bá ètò lọ lábẹ́lẹ̀. Tó bá dẹ̀ parí tán tí.
Ṣé ẹ gbọ́ àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tí mo sọ kí ó tó di pé arákùnrin yẹn dé?
Mi ò gbọ́ nígbà tó dé. Ìgbà tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ ni mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní.
Ẹ tó join nítorí mo ti pè yín náà mi rí pé.
Mo wà lórí call kan ní so.
Ok, ó yé mi.
So gbogbo
mo ń gbọ́ yín.
So gbogbo ohun tó sọ kalẹ̀, they are still the old argument that have been refuted. Muhammad jẹ́ ó live a poor life. Ó ṣe kinní kan. We know that Quran said that I find you poor, but I make you rich. And how did he make him rich? Through war, booty, and many others. And we have in Quran and the Tafsir that talk about the motive of Muhammad, how he started his ministry, and the challenges he had, and the encounter with the people of the Arab, of the Quraysh, particularly the people of Quraysh at his time. We know of the challenges he met with them, and we also know that ó èbó ìpọ̀ ó ní àwọn challenges pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ lóòótọ́, ṣùgbọ́n àwọn yẹn náà tí wọ́n ní tó ní challenge pẹ̀lú, they know what they are saying. Wọ́n mọ̀ pé ara wọn ni, a jọ ń sin òrìṣà yìí náà tẹ́lẹ̀ ni, kó tó di pé o déédéé tó sọ wípé títí ẹ eléyìí tó jẹ́ ti ìdílé ẹnìkan yìí gan-an òun lè fẹ́ mú. Ọ̀la pé a máa sin òrìṣà nílùú kan, kí wọ́n á wò pé ti ilé bàbá mi yìí gangan ni mo fẹ́ mú láti ṣe kìíní, so gbogbo ẹ̀yin yòókù ẹja pa wọ́n run. Nígbà tán dẹ̀ fà lọ tán fà bọ̀ tán mú lọ sí ọ̀dọ̀ ẹ̀gbọ́n rẹ̀, ṣé ké relative ẹ̀ la máa pè ní àbí Abu Talib, tán fà lọ sọ́dọ̀ ẹ̀. Kó tó dìgbà yẹn àwọn yẹn béèrè lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ wípé wọ́n sọ wípé tọ̀hídì tí Muhammed fẹ́ pè yín sí, ó ní tọ̀hídì láti ní agbára lórí yín, ìyẹn àwọn ará Quraysh, àti láti jàgàba lórí wọn, so torí wípé kó lè ní àwọn ọ̀pọ̀ ènìyàn lẹ́yìn, àti pé àwọn ò ní dá lóhùn, àwọn ò ní tẹ̀lé. That was their statement. Nígbà tó dẹ̀ di pé ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn di fa mí ń fa ọ́, fà á kí n fà á, wọ́n fà á lọ sọ́dọ̀ Abu Talib. Abu Talib má béèrè o, lóòótọ́ story tó gùn ní dáadáa. Wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀, Ibn Kathir sọ̀rọ̀ lórí Surah 38 ayah 4. Nígbà tó máa explain ẹ̀, wọ́n béèrè lọ́wọ́ Muhammed pé arákùnrin, ní ọ̀rọ̀ kan ní jógí, kí ni ohun tí òun fẹ́ gbà lọ́wọ́ àwọn aráabí, kí ni tó ń wá gan-an lọ́wọ́ àwọn aráabí. Muhammed mọ̀ jẹ́wọ́, ó ní òun wá ohun ọ̀rọ̀ ẹyọ kan tí ó jẹ́ wípé àwọn ará Arab yóò máa sọ, tí àwọn yòókù tí ì ṣe àwọn ará Arab yòókù wọn ó tẹ̀lé arákùnrin tá ń pè ní Muhammad, àti wípé àwọn tí wọ́n ń ṣe Aráàbù wọn yóò máa san owó ìtanràn tá ń pè ní jísíyà fún àwọn Aráàbù. Nínú gbogbo nǹkan tí mo sọ kalẹ̀ yìí, motive méjì péré ló wà ńbẹ̀ tó jáde látẹnu Muhammed. Number 1, ó nílò ọ̀rọ̀ kan tí wọ́n ó máa sọ tí ó jẹ́ wípé àwọn ará Aráàbù wọn ó parapọ̀ àti pé yóò di èrò lẹ́yìn fún un. Ìkejì òun ni wípé àwọn tí wọ́n ń ṣe ará Aráàbù wọn ó lè san jísíà. Kí la dẹ̀ rí lóde òní? Àwọn tí ò bá ti ṣe, ẹ bá ka Surah 929, ẹ bá lọ ka tafsir ẹ̀, ó sọ̀rọ̀ nípa jísíà. Ó sọ̀rọ̀ nípa Surah 929, sọ̀rọ̀ nípa pé ẹ bá àwọn tí wọ́n ń ṣe àwọn tí ò gbàgbọ́ nú Allah tàbí àwọn ọjọ́ àjíǹde tàbí prophet tàbí àwọn áńgẹ́lì, ẹ bá wọn jà títí tí wọ́n fi sanwó ìtanràn tán pè ní jísíà. So tẹ́ bá ka tafsir ẹ̀, ó sọ bí àwọn tí wọ́n ń ṣe, tí wọn ò gbàgbọ́ yẹn, àwọn kan wọ́n fi jẹ́ kó yọ pé àwọn Jew àti Christian ni wọ́n ṣe máa jẹ́ second class citizen níbi tí àwọn mùsùlùmí bá wà, àti bí wọ́n ṣe gbọ́dọ̀ humiliate wọn, tó gbọ́dọ̀ ridicule wọn títí tí wọ́n ó fi san di mùsùlùmí. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ gan lóde ní bírú Syria, bírú Egypt, some of them tó jẹ́ Christian were forced to become Muslim by intimidation. Nígbà tán bá ní kó máa san owó ìtanràn, owó tó ti rówó jẹun dandan ó máa san, àti àwọn oríṣiríṣi àwọn nǹkan tó rọ̀ mọ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ bá ka tafsir Surah 929, ó tó lọ́tọ̀ kẹ́yìn sọ pé ṣé nǹkan tí mo máa dìrí tí mùsùlùmí Islam ò tiẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ gbalẹ̀ rárá tọ̀. So arákùnrin kan wá tó kábàkábà lẹ́nu létí tèmi ni. Ìkejì tí mo fẹ́ dáhùn ni wípé ó sọ̀rọ̀ ó ní wípé àwọn ó dà kó ti sura 52:35 bí nǹkan bí mo lè ṣí mi ò gbà lọ dáadáa. Àwọn Árábù ti mọ Ọlọ́run wọn, wọ́n mọ̀ wípé there is supreme God. The problem Muhammad had with them was that they have associates with Allah. Kì í ṣe pé wọ́n mọ̀ pé Allah wà. They worship that Allah. Is one of their prominent God out of the 360 gods. He's one of their prominent gods, and all of them know and they regard him as their supreme God. But what Muhammad actually eloka Quran dada gbogbo nǹkan tí Quran condemn wọn fún ni wípé they are creating associates with Allah. Nǹkan tí Muhammad condemn wọn fún throughout nìyẹn. Wọ́n náà ṣe pé wọ́n ní politics pé wọ́n mú ṣùgbọ́n ohun tí Muhammad condemn àwọn people fún ṣe bóun náà ni Muhammad replace at the end of the day. Tẹ́ bá ka àwọn sources wọn dáadáa nínú hadith nínú even mo ní hadith tó sọ wípé Muhammad máa jẹ́ co-throne owner with Allah. mi ò story Jésù mo ti gbọ́ wípé a mọ̀ pé Jesus will sit on the throne with his father, and we know because he's the Messiah, number one. Number two, he's God. He is God. So, but in the case of nígbà tí Muhammad lọ tán nígbà tí wọ́n máa kọ hadith, they also exalted him to the extent that he's going to be a co-throne owner with Allah. Whatever tẹ́ bá ti ṣe fún Allah ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe fún Muhammad. Whatever tẹ́ bá ṣe fún Muhammad ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe fún Allah. Tẹ́ bá gba obey Muhammad ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ obey Allah. Tẹ́ bá obey Allah ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ obey Muhammad. Tí Muhammad ẹ bá ń kírun lọ́wọ́ tí Muhammad bá sọ pé wọ́n wá síbí, o gbọ́dọ̀ fi ìrun yẹn lẹ̀ kó wá dá lóhùn kíákíá ni. O gbọ́dọ̀ dá tó o bá ṣiyèméjì o ṣeé ṣe kó rí ẹ lọ sí. So gbogbo ohun tí òun condemn àwọn ará kìíní fún òun náà là òun gangan replace. So kò sí yàtọ̀ láàárín òun àtàwọn kìíní. Then pé either is a liar or is they call him Umai, or what do you call it? He's a truthful person. Muhammad is not the only truthful person. There are many truthful persons. Many people even became poor and they live their life like that. Many people were even rich. They don't know that they are rich. They are so simple, humble. Does that mean that they are prophet or they are saying they are bringing something that is true? No, that's not a criteria for knowing the truth or that religion is true. So that's not the criteria for it. It's just to me. So he listed a lot of things to pay Muhammad house and nìkan ló ní bí apáta kan ló ní. I don't know about all this one. Also nípa verse kan tó sọ wípé wave in the sea, all this scientific nonsense tó máa ń pick káàkiri, they are ambiguous verse that they just the translator mistranslated a lot of things just to make it look scientific inclined. For instance, I think Surah 51:47 or so tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ wípé the universe is, they even quoted it as if the universe is expanding. But when you look at the Quran in Arabic, it wasn't saying the universe is expanding. It was actually talking about the sky, sama, not universe. We build the heaven by our authority, and we are the Lord of the power and expands. The back, I think I got it right. Because I discussed with someone of his and to quote it for me. Heavens, also, and if you look at if you study science very well, universe encompass the heaven and the earth and galaxies. So this verse is talking about sama. So if you want to base it on what is it called? That it is universe, the text is talking about. Show me the Arabic word for universe. Is it heaven that is universe? Is this sky that is universe? Or is it only the earth that is universe and that is expanding? If heaven is expanding, that means it must have expanded beyond the normal. So I don't know why Muslim, and if you look at many translations, some of them translated as sky, some of them translated as heaven. None of the, in fact, only few translated it as universe, and those are people that are playing gymnastics on the Arabic. Then also Vatican, the ocean wave and all those stuff. That is blood is just false. We have many. Muhammad was accused of many things. That he is all ears. Anything can pass. If you say anything, he will grab it, and whenever he has a challenge, he will use it as a revelation. Uh, I think it should be, is this Surah 53, 22, 35? I can't remember what he quoted. But there is a problem with that verse if you look at it critically. Uh, Herodotus has talked about this, the gradient of ocean wave, uh, long time before Muhammad. He has talked about that. And those material is a common knowledge. In fact, nobody teach me that there is ocean wave. It's something that is observable. It's a common knowledge that you don't need a periscope, you don't need a telescope before you can observe ocean wave. No, you don't need that. And many scientists before 7th century have talked about it. Embryology in the Quran, that they were doing gymnastics. Many people have talked about it so many times. So, gbogbo àwọn ideology to make Islam look as if is something unique. To me, I don't see anything reasonable in it. It doesn't convince me to be a Muslim. It's not even enough to tell me that we talk about salvation. What will happen to me after life? What will happen to me at the moment? What is the state of my heart? When Jesus came to the heart, he was actually after the heart of the people, not actually after their appearance. Or the Pharisees pay attention to the physical building and all this stuff. Jesus pay attention to the heart. He is reaching out to the heart of the people to ensure that people get, if your heart is okay, your outside will be okay. If I give you, tí n bá fún yín ní kọ́ọ̀pù mẹ́ta kẹ́ ẹ mu omi nínú ẹ̀, ìkan inú ẹ̀ dọ̀tí, ìta ẹ̀ mọ́. Ìkejì inú ẹ̀ mọ́, ìta ẹ̀ dọ̀tí. Ìkẹta inú ẹ̀ dọ̀tí, inú ẹ̀ mọ́, ìta ẹ̀ mọ́. Èwo lẹ fẹ́ fi mu omi tí n bá fi bomi fún yín? So nobody will ever go to a particular, any of the first two that I mentioned. You will look for somebody who is, and that is why if you look at the message of Jesus Christ, is centered on the heart of people, and on the heart of people, not on the external. The external, whatever. In fact, the Bible even quoted, there's a verse in the Bible that said that what has been done in the spiritual will be made manifest in the physical. So whatever God has made you from within will manifest outside. Wọ́n ní inú ni èròkérò tí ń wá. Inú ni èròkérò tí ń wá. If èròkérò yẹn, if you curb it, you won't live a bad life outside. You won't react to it outside. So this is my own center of message that I pay attention to. And where will it lead me at the end of the day? How am I going to get to where I am going? That's the message I expect him to talk about. If Christian and Muslim have this particular message and not just battling on to make Muhammad look superior. He was even talking about miracle of Muhammad or prophecy of Muhammad. That he was actually talking about. We can actually look at all these things and pieces them out. As far as I'm concerned, we can actually look at them and pieces them out. So, but ayé ò ní gbà mí láti sọ̀rọ̀ lọ títí because mo fẹ́ wọ́n ṣe àwọn kan lọ́wọ́ ń bì. The number two ni wípé to be babysitting people's ignorance. I don't have time for all those nonsense any longer. So, as far as I'm concerned, all those claims he make is not a sign. It's not even convincing me enough to anybody can live a moral life. In fact, Gandhi in India, they respect him as a righteous man. We have many saints that people call saints all over the world, and they regard them, they respect them. Even some people will even go to the extent of bowing to them like worship. So it's not a criteria to tell me that a 7th century man did something, then I have to follow him because he did that in that way. No, it's not convincing enough to tell me that. So I can't be a Muslim with all those things he has listed. It's just a gymnastic. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. Ẹ káàbọ̀, ẹ ṣeun. Reverend William church wa ti dé padà.
Yes.
Yeah, ó dà pé ẹ̀yin náà fẹ́ sọ àwọn reason kan. Ìdí tí why I am not a Muslim, ìdí tí mo fún arákùnrin láwọn reason, mo sì ń retí kí wọ́n dá mi lóhùn. Ṣójú ọ̀rọ̀ lọ́dọ̀ yín bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn.
Yeah, okay, no, mo sin fan.
Àbí ìyàwó reference ẹ bímọ.
Òjò ń rọ̀ lọ́dọ̀ tí wọ́n
No, table fan ni mo sin, table fan ni mo sin.
Èmi rò bóyá pé ìyàwó yín fẹ́ bímọ ni o.
Ìyàwó mi ò tí ì lóyún.
Àwọn á ní láìpẹ́.
So
àmì ò Jésù.
Àwọn reason tí mo fún arákùnrin. Àwọn reason tí mo fún arákùnrin.
Wọ́n ní ó jẹ́ bèjì.
Amen. Àwọn reason tí mo fún arákùnrin, èmi ń retí kí wọ́n ṣàlàyé fún mi. Ó jẹ́ ìyàlẹ́nu fún mi pé kò tiẹ̀ mẹ́nu bà pàápàá. Ó wá jẹ́ 100% deviation. Reverend fẹ́ raise àwọn reason kan pàápàá torí pé bàbá rí
i. Ẹ̀sìn púpọ̀ ṣe rí reason tí mi ò fi lè jẹ́ mùsùlùmí pọ̀ tó pọ̀ is uncountable why I can never become a Muslim. Ó pọ̀ púpọ̀ in fact mo dẹ̀ fẹ́ kí àwọn mùsùlùmí tó ń gbọ́ mi kó lọ make research yìí wọ́n lọ béèrè dáadáa pé ṣé ohun tọkùnrin yìí sọ yìí sí lóòótọ́ ni sọ yẹ kó jẹ́ excuse. Ó yẹ kó jẹ́ excuse. Number one tí mi ò fi lè di mùsùlùmí ẹni tó mú ẹ̀sìn yìí wá fún wa. Ẹni tí ó present ẹ̀sìn Islam yìí gangan fún wa. The life he lived the most worst life that can never be emulated. Even he claim it. Ó sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ní Surah 33 verse 50. Ó sọ pé òun nìkan la fún láṣẹ láti fáwọn ìyàwó tó bá bá wọn lọ sí Medina. Àwọn olùgbàgbọ́ òdodo òun nìkan la fún láṣẹ. How will I follow such a man that claim that is the only person that is lawful to do something that for those who followed him has no right to do so? So even tí a bá ní parọ́ fúnra wa ìdí yẹn gẹ́gẹ́ tó kí n sọ wípé mi ò lè ṣe mùsùlùmí. Ìdí kejì ni pé ó wá pa irọ́ mú ẹni tó sọ pé nǹkan ó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí òun. Irọ́ ayé, irọ́ tó hàn, irọ́ tó fojú hàn. Wọ́n ní pé Jésù sọ pé òun ó kú. A kàn má gbélébùú. Á jí òun dìde ní ọjọ́ kẹta. Ó dẹ̀ pa ẹran sora fún àyà 157 wípé a ò pa bẹ́ẹ̀ ni kò kú bẹ́ẹ̀ ni kò jíǹde lọ́jọ́ kẹta. Ẹni tó sọ orú ọ̀rọ̀ báyẹn kí lẹ́fẹ̀ẹ́ gbàgbọ́ lára rẹ̀? Kí ni ẹ̀rí tó fẹ́ mú wá? Irọ́ kan tó burú jù ní ojú tèmi ìsọ ẹlòmíì o. Wọ́n ní wípé kéèyàn parọ́ mọ́ mi lójúkorojú. Kó dẹ̀ jẹ́ pé ó dẹ̀ tún sọ pé àníṣe àwọn ọmọ tí mo bí yẹn èmi kọ́ ni mo bí. Ìrọ̀rọ̀ o èmi kọ́ ni mo bí. Ìsìn parọ́ mọ́ mi àwọn ọmọ tó jọ mí. Mi ò lè gbàgbọ́ láyé tí fi kú. Ibi kí wọ́n á tẹ̀lé pójúṣe Ọlọ́run ni. Ìkan mìíràn òun ni wípé ó sọ wípé ẹ̀rin ara yìí bọ́dì lágbèwọ̀ ìjọba ọ̀run irọ́ tó fojú hàn ni. Pé ìfàtí á tún lọ fẹ́ 70 fẹ̀jì lọ́run. Nígbà bá lọ sínú àdìsí àwọn àdìsí kan tó sọ fún wa wípé inú mùsùlùmí tó bá kú 70 fẹ̀jì ń dóde lọ́run. Nínú àwọn ìyàwó mẹ́rin tó bá wá fẹ́ yẹn o á wá wo àwọn méjì tó dá nínú wọn. Á fẹ́ fún wọn yóò jẹ́ 72. Àwọn méjì tó kù yẹn ṣòfò wọ́n ṣàgbákò. Àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ ayé wá. Àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn ni mo ń gbọ́ ìwọ̀n pé eléyìí ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ òjíṣẹ́ Ọlọ́run. Now again Allah tó present fún wa yẹn lẹ́yìn ìgbà tá ní bí Muhammadu ti lọ tán kò sẹ́ni tó gbóhùn rẹ̀ mọ́. Báwo mo fẹ́ gbàgbọ́? Báwo mo fẹ́ gbà mo fẹ́ di mùsùlùmí? Nígbà tó yẹ pé mo bá di mùsùlùmí mi ní gbóhùn Ọlọ́run mọ́. Ọlọ́run lè bá mi sọ̀rọ̀ máa fọ̀rọ̀ tó ti bá Muhammadu sọ. Àwọn kan yẹn ó burú létí ènìyàn. tí ò ṣe gbọ́ mo fẹ́ káwọn bíbí àwọn mùsùlùmí tó ń gbọ́ mi mo fẹ́ kọ́ lọ make research ohun tí mo sọ yẹn ni o àfi tí wọ́n bá sọ fún mi pé lẹ́yìn ìgbà táwọn ẹbí Muhammadu lọ tẹ́ o ẹnìkan tó gbóhùn Allah. So again Allah yẹn wọ́n sọ wípé wọ́n tún Allah yẹn sọ̀rọ̀ ní sura 6 ayé 101 wípé òun ò níyàwó bó lòun ṣe bímọ. So definitely Allah yẹn gẹ́gẹ́ fúnra ẹ̀ lókú tó lè fi bímọ. So kọ̀kẹ́ dédé níyàwó tó fi bímọ ni. So èmi wàá fẹ́ èmi wàá gba ẹni tó lókú gbọ́.
ẹ máa pẹ́ sọ orí afẹ́fẹ́ la wà.
So ẹ má bínú Ọlọ́run ràn wá lọ́wọ́. So ìkẹ́ ọmọkùnrin sorry ẹ má bínú bí mo ṣe pé hùn ẹjọ́ ẹ má bínú. So aláyẹn ní ìkẹ́ ọmọkùnrin débi pé ó lè fi bímọ tó bá níyàwó ó lè fi bóbìnrin yẹn sùn. So àwọn nǹkan yẹn ni mo rò pé no it's not possible that can be my God ní nǹkan mìíràn ṣe point number 5 ni wípé aláàyàn ò gbọ́ èdè míì láti jẹ́ ká fi kírun ju lárúbáwá lọ báwo ló sọ ajẹ́gbẹ́gbẹ́ ọlọ́run ọba tó dá yàtọ̀ ọ̀run nìyẹn nígbà tó bá fi yẹn èdè kẹfẹ́ ní ayé pé èdè yẹn gẹ́gẹ́ ni mo kọ́kọ́ lọ èkéde ṣèdè mi ń lọ kọ́ ni by fire by force ní lọ kọ́ èdè mi ò tó mọ́ láti joseph ọlọ́run àfi kí n lu èdè ẹni tó present ara yẹn fún mi so it can't be God mi ò lè ṣe mùsùlùmí láyé so mùsùlùmí táwọn yẹn present ni o kì í ṣe ẹni tó juwọ́ ju sẹ́lẹ̀ kì í ṣe ẹni tó gbà fún ọlọ́run ọba tó dá yàtọ̀ ọ̀run o mùsùlùmí ìtumọ̀ mùsùlùmí tí wọ́n tẹ́lú pé ìtumọ̀ mùsùlùmí pórí ó pín sí ipa méjì being a Muslim you have 2 types of meaning. To me, be a Muslim in Islam is to submit to Allah and the Muhammad. But be a Muslim that I'm talking about, that I say that I can claim that I'm a Muslim, is to submit to Almighty God, to believe in oneness of God, to believe in to surrender everything unto Him. Now, in Kenya, nínú ètò ìrìnàjò Islam, the Islam embrace 3 ways to lie. Islam kọ́ wa ọ̀nà 3 tá lè gbà pa irọ́. Ọ̀nà àkọ́kọ́ a lè parọ́ láti múnú ìyàwó wa dùn. Wọ́n sọ fún àwọn akẹ́jọ́ pé wọ́n kébọ̀ lè parọ́ láti múnú ìyàwó mi dùn. Mo lè lọ jalè níta nísìnyí. Ṣé wàá kó wálé fún ìyàwó mi pé invite bí mo ṣe lọ ṣe mọ́ padà nìkan tó mú mi lówó lọ́nà. Sẹ́mo kí mi ìsọmú ìyàwó pé mo jalè ní. Wọ́n mú mi lówó lọ alẹ́ ẹ̀rẹ́ àti gbogbo inú ìyàwó mi ó dùn. Ṣùgbọ́n mo ti parọ́ mo ti jalè. So aláàfáà ìgbẹ́lẹ̀ yẹn. So alágbà ẹ̀ nítorí pé mo lè parọ́ láti múnú ìyàwó mi dùn kí n lọ bá ìyàwó sùn níta kí n wá parọ́ ìyàwó mi lé mi ìbẹ́ni gẹ́gẹ́ sùn níta. Irọ́ kẹ́ni. Ó tún ní mo lè parọ́ lójú ogun. So irọ́ yẹn mo rò pé ní ìkẹta kí wọ́n tó sọ̀rọ̀ ọ̀nà kẹta mo lè parọ́ láti mú kálàfí àkọjọba ládùúgbò. So nítorí àwọn nǹkan yẹn pé a lè parọ́ ní Islam yẹn mi ò lè ṣe mùsùlùmí. Lọ́yọ̀ rẹ̀ wà lọ́wọ́. God bless you.
Mr. Abu, Mr. Sonny.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Are you there?
Yeah, sorry, my system just lose connections. I have to join via my mobile.
Okay.
So I have to sort out my mobile to come back.
Your point. That's your point. Go ahead.
So I was on my final point. I think it was on the. Okay, I finished the prophecy. Did you got me up to the specific prophecy I mentioned? Was it clear up to that time?
You said?
Can you hear me? Did you got me up to the prophecy I didn't mention?
Prophecy. You are talking about wave, talking about some scientific miracle of the Quran.
Okay, yes. Okay, let me continue from there. So that was I was trying to illustrate that the Quran contains not scientific miracle. I will not use that scientific miracle. What I would say it contains information about reality that it was impossible for the Prophet ﷺ to know back then at 7th century Arabia, which we only came to know due to technological advancement. So this does not look like the profile of someone that was deluded. And I was on the message of the Quran, still within the message of the Quran. The Quran has a linguistic miracle. It's unique in its nature. It's unique in genre, and it gives a challenge because the Quran came down in the Arabic language at the time when the Arabs were at their peak of their eloquence. They pride themselves with their eloquence. When God normally gives miracle, He gives miracle that is relevant to the happening of that time. When Musa was uh, given the miracle to part the sea, at that time magic was prevalent. During the time of Isa, alayhi medicine was prevalent. We were doing something that transcended medicine. So at the time of the Prophet Muhammad, people were prouded in their linguistic, in their oratory, in their eloquence. So the Quran came to challenge them. It came with specific general and an objective criteria. Kind of challenge the Quran poses in English language so you can understand. For example, the Quran, if it gives a challenge that you should use English grammatical letters and speak in a way using English grammatical construct that was not used before. The speech has to be eloquent, and also you should use a word within the speech that is not known to be used before but can still be understood. And you should use an old word in a new way that has not been used before. This is what is contained within the Quran in Arabic. And to give an example, in Surah Alhamdu, Hamd is a word that is known before the Quran was revealed. The Arabs used the word Hamd, but they had never used that construct of Alhamd. So the concept of Alhamd, that all praise is due to God, is a new word. It's a new word that is a word that has been used within that same verse. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Al Alameen is a word that has never been used by the Arabs before. It's a new word, it's a new vocabulary, which means everything that exists. Everything that exists by creation. That's Al Alameen. Everything has been created to exist. But here they could still understood what it means. Why? Because it is similar to the word Al Alam. So this is also contained in this Surah Al-Fatiha. Then within that Surah Al-Fatiha, it says Malik Yawmiddin. That's what owner of the day of judgment. This vocabulary construct is new to the Arabic speaking people because they have not used this kind of grammatical by the Prophet when the as Allah SWT revealed to him to challenge the people at that
Summarize your
time
point.
that they should produce Arabic letters with their Arabic and consistent. So this is impossible. No, the point here is this is the challenge of the Quran. So it's impossible for someone that is needed to provide such a work like the Quran. So looking at all the evidences put together, the best possible explanation is that he was saying the truth. He could not have been telling the lie. He could not have been deluded. The only explanation that explains is that God has sent him as a messenger to humanity. And for this reason, it is binding on anyone to follow God, to accept his prophethood and follow him.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your response. Please, if you look at the topic I am challenging you on, as said, will you be able to defend it when I tell you reasons why I am not a Muslim? Why I'm not a Muslim? And you say, yes, you should be able to defend them. And I raised some of, even not all, I raised few points. I gave you reasons why I am not a Muslim. I was expecting you to respond to them like I did to yours. Though you were not satisfied yesterday, but at least I responded to your point on Jesus not being God, Trinity, and the rest. And Brother Samad actually gave in some of the reasons why your point is not valid. Now, tonight, I raised some points, but you are not responding to them. But I will still say some of these things. Is it true that Muhammad married more than four wives? I have some questions. This is my time. I will be, so far you are not responding to my point. I will take them in form of question. Is it true Muhammad married more than four wives, as against what more Muslim must marry?
So to respond, but yesterday I agreed to tell you also reason why you should be a Muslim. So this is why I first started to present the reason why you should be a Muslim. So you're actually giving the reason why you're not a Muslim. So why I made a judging of what you said, which I'm going to address them. But I wanted to give you the reasons why you should be a Muslim. Then we'll now go through the reasons you have presented that hindered you from being a Muslim. So I did not actually ignore them. I even make a judging of some of the things you said. So, but if you want us to do it like the way you're doing it now, so you want us to be doing a question and answer, maybe we're asking one. If that's the case, you're asking now.
It's my time, so I'm using it the way I like. It's my time. I don't want to talk again. I've made my point. So far, you are not responding to them. I'm turning it in form of question in my own time. Go ahead and answer the question if you want. Is it true Muhammad married more than four wives? Against yeah.
No, the Prophet married more than four wives. It's a historical fact. It's true. Okay. Yes.
Is it true Muhammad beat Aisha on her chest?
No.
He did not.
Not beat on her chest.
Okay.
Yes, I'm telling you no.
Okay, what if I give you the hadith?
What if you do what? I know the event you are talking about, but the weddings you are using is not. That's not how the Muslims have understood the event.
Muhammad struck Aisha on her chest and it caused her pain. You said no.
No, you said the prophet. You asked the prophet beat Aisha.
Struck her on her chest.
And that's why I answered you no. Well, I know the. Oh, you are.
He did not struck her.
You are rephrasing. You are rephrasing your statement now. What you said initially was different from what you are saying now.
Okay, struck, beat. Is it? I don't want to argue about words. Is it true Muhammad struck Aisha on her chest and it caused her pain?
So what happened was there was an occasion when the Prophet was with Aisha, and her. So the angel Gabriel came to give the Prophet a revelation that he should go to the graveyard.
I'm not asking for a story. Is it true or not? Just answer the question. It's my time. Is it true Aisha was struck on her chest? If it's not, just say it's not.
Pray for the most red with her. That's the answer. If you don't want the explanation to this, so let me just give you directly.
I can't hear you. Your network is not. I can't hear your response. I can't hear you, please. I just need. I said.
So this is a direct answer. Yeah.
Your network is poor. It's just going on and off. That's why I'm saying. Go ahead. Try again. Make a response again.
Because what I said. Yes, I wanted to give you the explanation of the event, and you don't want the explanation. So now, what I would say is,
you answer the question before. I need the explanation. Go ahead. Answer the question. You said no.
No. We had on our chest. That's my answer.
I can't. You said I can't hear you. Network is. You say yes or no?
He had a physical contact. He had a physical contact with her on her chest. So
I said struck her on her chest. Struck. I'm not saying physical contact. This is my question. Did Muhammad struck Aisha on her chest and it caused her pain? That's my question. If it's no, just say no. If it's yes, just say yes. Don't change my words.
No. If that's what you mean now. Yes, it's physical contact. I know that is application of physical contact. But if yeah, struck, I refuse. I would say no. Is that how you want it? If you don't want a meaningful answer, that would be no.
Okay.
No is your answer.
Okay, you said no. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Do you see my screen?
Yeah, I
Do you
can see your
my
screen. I can see your screen. I can see the screen.
Okay, no problem. Let me ask the following question. Is it true that Muhammad slept with Maria the Copt? Or is it Maria? If I'm the name of the girl in Surah 66, is it true Muhammad slept with her on a matrimonial bed?
You can call the narration so that I know what you're talking about.
Surah 66. I'm talking about Surah 66. Ayah 1 to 4. Is it true?
I want to give you.
Is it true? Muhammad really slept with
Let me see Surah 66. Let me see the Surah so I understand how to answer you.
Don't know.
I'm trying to open Surah 66.
All right.
Sorry, FSP, can I quickly interject just a minute? Abu, I just want to ask, is it the word that was used by FSP that Muhammad struck Aisha or beat Aisha or hit Aisha that is the problem that you are saying no? Because the hadith says he struck her in the chest and she said it caused her so much pain. Is it the word that you're having issues with, or you have your own word that was used in that physical encounter that you are talking about?
Yes, it's the word I have a problem with.
So what is the word? What is the word that you think should have been used there? What's the right word? Did Muhammad hit her, struck her, or beat her? Which one?
So I actually told you, I said he had a physical contact with her.
So what does that mean?
So that's what I was trying to explain, and you fused the explanation. So
hey, but what does physical contact mean? It still means that he hit her, right?
Let's give it. Yeah, understand it now. If you want the explanation, then let me explain for you.
No, I'm asking, is the word that we are dealing with now, is it that he hit her or he didn't hit her? Physical contact, he hit her or he did not hit her?
Physical contact.
So, but it means it. So, okay, maybe it was head blow that he gave her. Was it like heading her?
If you need the explanation, you ask for it, I will give you the explanation. But
yeah, I'm asking, is he head boots, or that he punched her, or he hit her, or he struck her, or he beat her? Which one? Because you have to use one of those words. Because I just said it caused her so much pain.
One of the above. One of the above.
So which one is it?
Then allow me to explain for you. So you don't tell me.
I just want to be truthful. So don't just hide behind one figure. Be truthful. Which one is it? Which word? Okay, give us the word. There's nothing like physical contact. What does that mean?
If you want to know what it means, then you give chance. Okay, in fact, I have to even explain because you've asked your question, I have time to answer. So now, this is
the hadith. This is the hadith. Maybe you read it and give a hey, he struck me on the chest. You see, he struck me. Look at the middle there. If you can highlight that word, he just highlight that sentence. He struck me on the chest, and it caused me pain. So maybe give us the synonym that you think should have been used there, because the physical contact you are talking about, you are just you are not being truthful there. This is the word now in your text. Struck, hit. What's the word? Head, boots, or punch. Let me use the word punched. Those are the synonyms you can use for it. You can't say physical contact. What does that mean? So just be truthful. That's what I'm saying. Be sincere with what you're saying, okay?
Do you know my background of which Muslim I am? You know, there are different sects within Islam. There is a Sunni, there are the Quraniyun, and there are the different sects. So do you know the background of the person you are talking to?
Are your books different? Is your Quran different? Is your hadith different?
What is the hadith now, right? You're putting the hadith right. So now you have to understand. Am I a Quraniyun or am I a Sunni? What is evidence to me? So
that's your differences. It means nothing to us. It's you that will tell us now. You are having problem with this word that is used in this hadith, which is struck.
Now you are quoting a hadith. What if I'm a Quran you and I don't accept hadith? So how would that work as an evidence for me? It will not be an evidence for me.
So that means you agree that you guys have differences. You have different Qurans, you have different hadith, you have different tafsir. You guys don't have one book. Is that what you're saying? You are admitting to that, right?
Bras Ahmad,
Yeah.
Abu, we have had you quoted hadith. You call it Sunnah of the Prophet in your presentation, so we know that you are not Quran only Muslim. So you can deal with the hadith on the screen. So without impeding it.
I'm not Quran only good. I'm not Quran only Muslim. What counts as evidence for me? You just simply quoting the hadith or simply quoting a verse of the Quran is not an evidence for me. That's not evidence. That's not how I arrive at the conclusion in Islam. So now this is what is an evidence for me. So if you know what's an evidence for me, then you have to follow the methodology of what I got as an evidence.
So you are creating methodology for yourself outside what Quran and Hadith said. So when you want to give your presentation, hold on, Abu. When you gave your presentation, you were not creating methodology when you were referring to Muhammad doing miracle in your Hadith. When you are quoting Quran as evidence for science, you did not create methodology for your explanation. You are only talking about that. You are only saying that you are making a statement of fact that this actually happened. Now, did this one actually happen? That's the question. We are not fighting. We are friends now.
I understand. When you asked yesterday, we had a discussion yesterday. When I asked the question,
sorry for
okay, not yet. When I asked the question to FSP or Bro Samad, he gives explanation and I allow him to give an explanation. But when I'm trying to explain the event and you are deterring me from explaining what happened, then that is not a case.
Okay, we want you to explain this verse. I mean, sorry, this hadith.
It's not even the explanation. He should accept what he said. I did not say it rightly. This is exactly on the screen. You are not. You said I didn't use the right word. Just accept the reality before you explain. You cannot explain what you do not accept. Have you accepted? Struck out on our chest. If you don't accept, let's go ahead. If you are not accepting, what are you explaining? Just say yes, it happened. If it does not happen, then we don't need explanation. Just say it happened.
The hadith was not.
You said
the hadith was not written in English language, so I don't accept this interpretation. I don't accept this translation. What I accept is he had a physical contact with her on her chest. And if you want more explanation, I can give it to you. That's my
okay. Abu, do you have the hadith that says he had a physical contact with her? Can you give us that one?
It's still the same hadith. It's not a different hadith from this. I'm telling you a matter of interpretation, it's a matter of translation. So the translation you've used.
Can you give us your own translation of this that says he had physical contact with her? And of course, maybe okay, go ahead and explain. What does that physical contact mean? Can you just explain it?
So let me explain.
Explain. First, please let him explain physical contact, what it means, and how it caused Aisha pains. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So, to give the explanation, so I was saying that the Prophet was with Aisha anha when the angel Gabriel came to him that he should go to the graveyard and pray for the Muslims. So the Prophet didn't want to wake up Aisha if he saw her sleeping, so he left the bed quietly, gently, and started to move towards the graveyard. So when Aisha noticed that the Prophet left his bed, she got up and followed him up to the when the Prophet went to the graveyard. He did the prayers for the dead people. Then when he was returning back, then Aisha was also trying to walk fast. She was panting. She was walking fast ahead of the Prophet so that she can return back to the to her bed before the Prophet reached back. So she was walking very, very fast. So then when the Prophet went back to the room, he met her panting, and he was surprised. What happened? So he hesitated in telling her what happened. So the Prophet pressed her, and she answered that what she actually followed him towards when he went out till he get to the graveyard. So the Prophet was shocked at what she did to him. So he held her firmly like a grip. He gripped her. That is she asking, like calling her attention that is she thinking that the Prophet will do something else. And due to the, as I've explained before, that he was the physical contact was not meant like you want to beat, like when you say beat or hit, when you do something with the intention of causing a pain to somebody. But when you held someone to call her attention to a point, and she felt pain, why? Because of what? She was already panting. So that action made her to feel pain. So that was the explanation I wanted to give.
So, in your conclusion, it still means the same thing that the prophet either pressed her, hit her, headbutt her, that caused that pain. It's still the same thing. Oh, your explanation, that's what it still boils down to. That's the summary of everything you still explain. Because following the prophet to the graveyard, when he came back, the prophet saw it as an assault, as what's the word now? Okay, we are speaking English, sorry. So he saw the action as what I call it, something a dishonorable action. He didn't like what she did, and he has to show his pleasure by hitting her or by striking her. According to this hadith now, he struck her in the chest. Why are you following me? And that shows the prophet was angry with her action. That's why he struck her on the chest. And he said it caused that pain. So your explanation still boils down to, it still agrees with what this hadith says. And so now, do you now agree that the prophet struck her on the chest and caused that pain, as according to her testimony, according to this hadith now? So I think just be truthful with your text. We are not the one that wrote your text. This is what is written for you. You can see it. Quran. What's that site now? Quran. Is it QuranX.com or something? So that's just to please carry on.
Do you want me to repeat myself? I've already given the explanation, so you can go back and I will still tell you the same thing I said before. So there's no point. If you have another point, bring it up. But what I've explained before, it shows that you have to prove that the prophet did it with the intention of causing her pain. So there's nothing in the text that actually suggested that. That is your own personal interpretation. So
no, it's not my interpretation. No, it's what we can infer from the text. The prophet disagreed with she following him without he telling him, without his approval. She piggybacked him to the graveyard, and when the prophet came back, because she had run away, she had run back and covered herself. When the prophet got back, he only saw that she was breathing fast. The prophet knew that somebody was actually following him, and that's why he became angry and he hit her in the chest. Why are you following me? That's what. There is no two way of explaining that. It's not about my personal opinion. That's the pictorial explanation of that incident, of what happened there. So there's no way we gainsaying it or trying to bury our head in the sand. That's the fact.
Okay, I have a question. Can you show me anywhere within the text where you said the prophet was angry and he hit her to cause her pain?
Why did he strike her chest and ask her who was following me? Were you following me? Why was he asking her those questions? And then he saw her that she was breathing because the prophet knew somebody was following him.
Okay, finish. Let me ask you one question. My question is it in the text that the prophet was angry and he hit her because he wanted to cause her pain? Is it in the hadith?
Why did he strike her?
You're not answering my question. Yes or no? Is it in the hadith?
Of course, but that's why he wants to know why she was following him. Because he left her on the bed sleeping or pretending as if she was asleep. Then he went out. Somebody was following the prophet. The prophet got to the graveyard, did whatever he wants to do, was coming by, the person had ran back. He got home, he saw Aisha breathing heavily. So what are you talking about? He wants to know the truth according to you that he praised her. So because he wants to bring out the truth, whether she was the one following him. And in the process, he hit her so that she can say the truth. And she said it caused her pain. So what are you talking about?
This is my question. This is my challenge to you. Now you have the hadith on the screen. Please highlight the place within the hadith you posted where he said he was angry, so he hit her to.
That is just playing. You are just trying to play with words with that. That is so absolutely unnecessary. You can see the word now. Okay. This is not the hadith again. FSP, is it the one?
It's not the hadith. I've leave the hadith now.
Okay, please FSP, go on, please. Carry on, please.
This is your Quran. If you are saying the hadith never said it, if you beat a child because the child has offended you. That's why you've beaten the child. You don't have to write it down that I'm angry. That's why I beat the child. We don't have to play with words. That's all our point. You don't have to drag that. I should have asked you to read the Arabic, but we have left the Hadith. This is Quran, Surah 434. Is it true that we can beat our wife as Muslim after all other solution has failed? Is it true as a Muslim? Because I'm telling you reason why I'm not a Muslim. Is it true that I can beat my wife after I've tried every other thing? Is according to this on the screen. Is it true?
Okay, now when you say reason why you're not a Muslim, that's not my point. I've given you reasons why you must be a Muslim, and I understood that you've not actually addressed any of the reasons I've given to you. So I want to understand before I continue. So it's not really like it's not the question and answer session we're simply doing. So we're trying to give just answer your question.
It's not a question. It's my time. I don't want to be making it to be talking. It's my time, and I want to spend it judiciously because these are points I raised, and I didn't see any response. That's why I'm raising them in question format.
How does this stop you from being a Muslim? Can you explain?
No. Just answer my question. I will answer the question. Is it true I can beat my wife?
On this, then I'll ask you my question.
Yes, I will answer the question, but just answer the question. Is it true I can beat my wife after every other result has failed as a Muslim? According to this Quran. This is not an hadith. This is not an hadith, at least.
I understand. Now, the explanation of the verse cited. Let me open the verse so I can explain.
Surah 4, ayah 34 is on the screen. I'm not the one that wrote this one.
I have my Quran with me.
No problem. Go ahead. And I will ask the last question before I give you the time to then take your time.
Surah 4, verse 34. So he said, men are protectors and maintainers of women, because Allah has made one of them to excel the other, and because they spend to support them from their means. Therefore, the righteous women are devotedly obedient and guard in the husband's absence with Allah orders them to what Allah orders them to guard. As to those women on whose part you see ill conduct, admonish them first, then next refuse to share their bed, and last beat them lightly if it is useful. But if they obey you, seek not against them means of annoyance. Surely Allah is ever most high and most great. Yes, as you rightly said, it is a part of the last result within your wife when you try to correct her. Yeah, as a Muslim, yes.
Okay.
So beat her gently. I'm asking my question. Let me finish, please. Don't just cut me. So now, the beating has been explained by Prophet Sallallahu, as you said. What's evidence for me is the Quran, the Sunnah, as understood by the companions. So Ibn Abbas, a companion of the Prophet, explained this verse that it's a beating that caused no pain, and he gives an example like using a siwak. So that's what is understood. So it's not a context beat. So that is the context of the explanation from the companion. A beat that doesn't leave any pain or any bruise, like using a siwak. A siwak is we use to wash our teeth. So the beat here is
a wife. You have done every other thing to admonish. She did not understand. You have to use Mishwak to just say, I understand.
So now, I want to understand, how does that stop you from being a Muslim?
Yeah, I said beating one's wife is an act that is not of God. You are beating yourself because your wife is your partner. You said?
What is the problem with beating that doesn't cause abuse, that doesn't cause pain, like beating with this work?
The Quran verse never said that does not cause pain. It said beat. Even lightly is not there. You are the one adding lightly. So not causing pain is an added thing. They are assisting the Quranic verses. The Quranic verse said beat after you have done. Please let me ask the last question. Maybe you can ask me some.
Okay, ask your last question. I want to ask you some questions.
I have a series of questions, but because I want to respect you so that you can respond to some. Because I raised them, but you didn't respond to them. That's why I'm turning them in form of question. Is it true Muhammad permitted his soldier to what do you say, to practice temporary marriage as a Muslim. Is it true? And can we do that today?
Yes, you can do that. The issue of Nikah Mutua was permitted at the early stage of Islam, but it was abrogated at the conquest of the battle of Khaybar. So it was the present.
Is there any verse in the Quran that abrogated it?
Ask a question. Allow me to answer, please. Don't just cut me off. No, that's not how to. When you ask your question, they allow you to explain your point. Then, if you have any observation, you can come back. The conquest of Khaybar, the Prophet Islam forbid Nikah Mutua. So just like alcohol was not stopped once. So when the Islam came, the Arabs had their wars of state. So it was a gradual process to reform them. So initially it was allowed for them till it was prohibited. So now the present ruling on it is that it is forbidden. It's not allowed.
Any verse in the Quran that says it's forbidden? Because I can see it in the Quran that you can do temporary union with them. Surah 424. Where in the Quran can we see that abrogation? Lastly, and you have your time.
Okay, let me ask you a question. That's the point. So let me ask you a question. I think this.
Where in the Quran? Just give me a verse in the Quran that said it's been abrogated. If there is one, just give it to me.
No, I'm now this. No, what counts as evidence in Sharia? Is it just the Quran?
No, I don't know. Just answer the question. Is your question?
The Quran says, "Atiullah wa ati Rasul," as you follow Allah, you follow the Messenger. So by following the Quran or following the Messenger, Nikah Mutua is prohibited. That's the answer to the question.
Okay.
So now, I want to ask you.
Go ahead.
So I want to understand, because when you say reasons why you're not a Muslim, I don't understand how. If all these questions now, it doesn't stop you anyway from being a Muslim. So I want to know, for example, like all the questions you've asked now, how does this stop you from being a Muslim? Can you explain? Because I've given you compelling reasons why you should be a Muslim. We should not address any of them. So I want to know all these reasons I've given now. How does it stop you from being a Muslim?
Yeah, thank you. The reason why I will not become a Muslim for beating my wife, Islam permits Muslim to beat their wives. Islam permits Muslim, at least according to the Quran, Muhammad allowed his soldier to have temporary marriage. This is not done by Jesus. At least he said he had come to follow the footsteps of Jesus, to add to what Jesus had done. At least it should not deviate. It should not be a deviance. If I'm seeing a Muhammad deviating from what Jesus preached, then how can I follow him? Somebody say I should marry 4 wives. He married more than 4, even have concubine. And you are telling me to follow such a person? I cannot. It's normal. So if he had come in the messages of Jesus, at least related to the message of Jesus, as you said yesterday, that he preached the same message, but we are looking and studying the messages of Muhammad, is quite different from what Jesus preached. Jesus never preached we should beat our wives. Jesus never preached that we should have temporary marriage. He never permitted it. In fact, he said, if you have betrayed a woman in your heart, you have fornicated with her in your heart. So these are messages that are at difference with the messages of Jesus. That is why I cannot become a Muslim. Do you get the reason why I said I cannot become a Muslim? Because of these reasons. Muhammad failed in his own law. He said marry 4, he married more than 4. He said the Muslim said we should not covet. He coveted the wife of Said, according to the tafsir. So I can't become a Muslim because of this and so many other reasons. He said there is one Quran. We have types of Quran. Quran is more than one. I can give you evidence.
Let me respond to what you said. Okay, thanks for your response. So when you say, let me just start from you. What do you understand to be evidence in Islam? What is evidence in Islam? What counts if you want to prove something to be true, or let's say Islam teaches this, what constitutes evidence in Islam?
Islam, what the books you use is Quran, Hadith, Sirah, Tafsir. These are your books. And sometimes Fatwa.
Okay, can you cite any Islamic work where they have defined evidence, where you are defining it?
what do I need that for? I say I'm not a Muslim. I cannot become a Muslim because of this reason. The onus is on you to prove me wrong that all
No,
what I raised is wrong. I don't need all those. For what purpose will I need? I don't need Islam. Why will I be asking me that question? It's of no
the point
use
is,
because I'm using the Quran to show you why I am not a Muslim, and I'm expecting you to respond to this point.
okay, for example, let me give you a quick example. When the Surah Al-Baqarah in chapter 2 of the Quran, when it's talking about the Muslim fasting, when you should stop eating, he said you should stop eating when you can differentiate the black thread from the white thread in the dawn. So now, according to you, now what you will do, you see, you should separate the white thread from the black thread. So you will keep eating till you can physically separate between the black thread and the white thread, which is not what the verse is asking you to do. That's why I said you have to understand what is evidence. But if you don't know what is an evidence in
I'm
Islam,
asking you to explain. That is what I'm expecting from you. You are a Muslim. So convince me. These are reasons I raised. Just convince me that these reasons are wrong. I'm wrong. Prove me wrong.
I'll
Okay?
finish
Don't
my
blame
point,
me.
please.
Just prove me wrong. Prove me wrong that all this I said is wrong. The onus is on you. Audience at home, they want to listen to your point. Why I am wrong. Go ahead. You said you raised so many points, I didn't attend to them. What are those points? Why I should become a Muslim? When I gave you all these salient points, you can beat your wife. And Jesus never said we should beat our wives. I chose Jesus.
Yeah.
Your network is breaking and it
I said,
seems
Alaykum bi
our day is
sunnati
fast spent.
Rashidin. So now the point when you brought a verse about beating, so I've explained to you with the explanation of the companion that it's a beating that doesn't cause any pain, and it gives a similitude by beating with a siwak. So I don't
But
understand.
Muhammad beat Aisha and it caused her pain. So why are you telling me it should not cause pain?
The verse you quote, the hadith you quote on stroking Aisha to cause her pain. So I made a challenge. Show where it said that the Prophet was angry and hit her to cause her pain. But that's just your past difference. That's your personal interpretation, and your personal interpretation doesn't hold water. So I've given the background and
especially share detail.
the point I want to raise now is you say that you are not a Muslim because of all these things because it goes against the message of Jesus. But I want to ask you, do you have a problem with Jesus ordering people keeping pre-Christian girls as slaves, having sex with underage girls, or killing children? Do you have a problem with that? Jesus saying that in the Bible? You have to be consistent. We're a Christian, so if you are bringing a standard, you should bring a standard that is consistent with your belief. So
I'm sorry, you repeat that point. I don't have a problem with Jesus. I just went to them.
Young girls as sex slaves. That is the young girl before virgins that have not reached the age of adulthood to be taken as sex slave. Do you agree with the teaching of Jesus like that in the Bible?
You have
Jesus
to quote
said that.
Reference.
Where did Jesus say what he just said? Yeah.
He wanted to do it happens in your religion, it happens in my religion, so you don't have evidence, you don't have argument. That's what he wants to do.
You have to be consistent. Let me give you the reference. Open to
that's not the argument now. The argument now is Islam. So respond. Respond to your Islam.
No, I'm talking please. We had a yesterday. It's a continuation. Please, since you are not here yesterday, allow us to continue our conversation. So now, I asked him how it stopped him from being a Muslim. He actually said by himself that it's not consistent with the teaching of Jesus.
Yes.
So now, as you said, inconsistency is a sign of failed argument. So if you're having double standard, if you're having a different standard, so if it stops you from this is my response. If you think it can stop you from being a Muslim, it's enough to also stop you from being a Christian. Why? Because
show me where Jesus said I can have sex with temporary marriage. Show me where I can beat my wife. I'm waiting. Show me from the words of Jesus or from anywhere you want to show me. Just bring the reference. You want to quote it now? Quote it so that we can we can share the grace. I'm waiting for your reference. If you cannot give me the reference, and that means I'm right. I cannot become a Muslim. My audience cannot be, and you yourself, you don't need to become a Muslim. You have to dump Islam. Show me if you want to. If you cannot show me where Jesus said we can beat our wives, we can have temporary marriage, we can actually have sex with our slave girl on our matrimonial bed. Show it to me. I'm waiting before we call it a day, because our time is fast spent. If you can you go ahead and show it to me, and we display it on the screen where Jesus said, I can beat my wife after every other resort has done? No, Jesus never said that. He said, in the beginning, it was not so. They are a man and a woman. That's how they were made. It was not made. Moses gave you the law because of the hardness of your heart. So where did Jesus say we can beat our wives? Where did Jesus say we can have temporary marriage and pay them off like harlots? This is the reason. These are some of the reasons. They are some of the reasons why I cannot become a Muslim. And I believe my audience cannot become a Muslim because of these reasons. Do you have evidence? So that if you don't have evidence, we can call it a day, because our time is fast spent. Brother TMD, are you there? Give us a closing statement and we call it a day, since his network is not responding, maybe because of his network.
All right, thank you. Because I've been chatting that I want to go and sleep already. I think as far as I'm concerned, I've made my statement known at the other time that the guy is just beating around the bush, creating scenarios that is not convincing enough to take me out of where I am now, that I love so much, that I praise God for every day. That even as at yesterday night, even this afternoon, that Burakoride was with me, that I have to share with him that even if they put a two-edged sword on my neck to deny Christ and embrace Islam or Muhammad, I'm ready to let that head go off. And that I will never allow my personal issues, my personal challenges to take Christ away from me. Even if I go wretched, even if what happened to Job happened to me, I will not deny my God. Then I also believe that everybody needs to sit tight and try and study Islam very well, understand it, and know how to relate with them. See the way this man was trying to play around his own source, and is asking you, how do you derive evidence in Islam? What concern Christian with how do you uh, derive evidence in Islam when we have books or sources that give us evidence to Islam, what Islam is? So why do I need to go and look at a scholarly job done by someone outside when I have primary source that I can look to that tells me what actually is? So you said I should close the statement because laptop there. So iṣẹ́ wà lọ́la. So nǹkan tí mo kàn máa sọ lérèfé òun ni wípé ẹ jẹ́ ká wá di ìgbàgbọ́ wa mú ṣinṣin. Kò sóhunkóhun tó lè yẹ ẹsẹ̀ mi kúrò ní ìlànà Kristi. Kò sí ohunkóhun, come what me anything, kò sí ohun tí ó yà mí, ìyà Jésù. So that's just the brief I can say. One of these days, God permitting us, we after election and exam and other things, and with my mind, we can now come back to all this discussion.
Yeah. Ẹ ṣeun. Ẹ má gbàgbé, a ní StreamYard wa, owó ẹ̀ ti jóná tán, so ó ṣeé ṣe kán limit wa these days. So bí wọ́n ṣe ń fún wa wọ́n ní bí ọjọ́ kan àbọ̀jọ́ méjì náà ló kù. If the Lord has laid it in your heart to, the pastor that paid it, I've contacted him, but his number is not reachable. He's the one that paid a year StreamYard activation for us, and our account will be limited to some activities. A máa ní nǹkan tá a lè ṣe àti nǹkan tá a lè ṣe, and it is well. Ọlọ́run á ràn wá lọ́wọ́. Bá a ṣe fẹ́ lọ faradélẹ̀, jẹ́ ká rántí pé Jésù lolúwa o. Bra Abu Abdulrahman is okay. We are inviting you to come and accept Jesus because of our time. Our time is fast spent. We can have some other time. we have some other topics, we can discuss them. God bless you. Have a lovely night. And I want to do what I share.
Samadi ò tí ì sọ kankan.
In fact, let me quickly say something. God forbid bad thing. I don't see any reason why anybody should be a Muslim. There is no reason on earth. Either looking at the life of Muhammad, if we have read about the life of Muhammad, you should run away from Islam. If you have read the Quran, you should run away from Islam, because there is nothing. I've read it. I didn't see anything that makes sense in it, from chapter 1 to chapter 114. For those using the 114 chapters, and the other one that are using 116 chapters, there is nothing in any of those chapters that will make anybody to become a Muslim. Or is it the hadith, or the tafsir, or even the Muslims themselves, their lifestyle? Is it what should make you a Muslim? If you want to know about Islam, or where the Sharia of Islam is being operated, the law of Allah, go and try to live in Islamic countries. Go and see what is going on in Pakistan. Go and see what is going on in Afghanistan. Go and see what is going on in Lebanon, in Syria, in even the peaceful ones in Qatar. Because those ones, they are oil rich, but go and see what they are real terrorist sponsors. So what is it that you attract one to Islam? The promise of the nonsensical promise of 72 virgins in the Journal of Allah. Is that what should attract you? Because those things are just folk tales, they are fairy tales. So in fact, just like the Bible says that nothing should separate us from the love of Christ. What is it? Is it the presidency, or that they offer you to be the speaker of the House of Rep, or to be the senator, or to be a senator, or to be the president of the country? Because if you turn to a Muslim, you better fulfill those things and remain with Christ than enjoy the riches, those temporal, ephemeral riches, or whatever gain they will give you on earth, and say you want to become a Muslim. No. There's nothing on earth. I was telling a friend this morning that if they offer you to be the House of Rep speaker, are you going to turn to and they want you to be a Muslim? Will you do it? It depends on this conviction and the condition. I said, what useless condition? Whatever it is, there's no any reason. So God forbid, I'll tell people, run from Islam. Because there's nothing that makes sense in it. It's a religion of oppression, of violence, of subjugation, And let's just keep away from Islam. God bless.
If there is something